When I think about all the places and the cities in the US where I'd like to run, Hartford, Connecticut has never even made the top of my list just to visit. After all, who finds titillation in a city not so lovingly named the filing cabinet of North America? Yet the over 300-year-old conservative Connecticut town surprised me. Yes, it's still the insurance capital of the world, and yes, the weather can be downright miserable. But it's also flanked by beautiful mountains, dappled with highland reservoirs and surrounded by parks and trail systems. And so I went, and I ran, and I sipped coffee, and I drank beer, and I sought out the people and the places that make Hartford a running destination worthy of a spot on the map. Run This Town. It's spring, and yet it's so cold I can hardly feel my fingers. I guess Mark Twain's quote is also true in reverse: if you don't like the weather in New England, wait a minute. I've been invited to run with the CT Trail Mixers, a group of enthusiastic social trail runners who meet once a week or more to run trails all over Connecticut. They started with just a few die-hard trail running friends and quickly swelled to nearly 500 members.
Who has not run here before? All right.
Today we're meeting at Penwood State Park, the go-to place to get in some off-road miles. It's an 800-acre swath of land just outside of town with access to the 62.7-mile Metacomet Trail, a scenic single-track traversing the Metacomet Ridge of central Connecticut. This is Michael Lopresti, the group's insanely organized and passionate founder.
It's cool because everyone can just chat and not.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's always cool about racing too, is like being able to go and see a bunch of people you know.
Yep.
But if you get to run with people all the time, it's like awesome.
The races become big reunions, right?
Yeah.
I think setting up a group like this just gave people a chance to experience the trails across the state in a new way. There's so many trails in Connecticut. It's been a wonderful way to learn new trails, and one week I'll lead a group, another week someone else will lead a group on another trail. So
Totally.
it's a great way to involve people who really care about the trails and being outside.
It's gonna all blend together after a while.
I've spent full days out in the woods running completely alone. For much of my running life, running was not a social endeavor, but a very personal one. Yet running with the CT Trail Mixers today, I'm reminded how community-oriented this sport really is. Despite being totally new to this group, they welcomed me as if I ran with them every week. Come here to run and I guarantee you'll make instant friends on the trail. I leave the run to walk the streets of West Hartford. First, Blueback Square, a rather square-like conglomerate of big box stores that leads, by way of an alphabetic tribute staircase, to West Hartford, the hip and historic part of town, and also the home of J. Renee Coffee Roasters, arguably the best coffee shop in all of New England.
Is that decaf or regular?
My name is Jose Rene Martinez. I'm the owner of J. Renee Coffee Roasters. When it comes to coffee, you have three main distinctions. You have the agricultural side of coffee, you have the roasting side, and then you have the barista side. So we kind of combine all these three different skill sets because they are all artisanal in their own right. So we not only combine skill, but there's a certain level of art when it comes to producing the coffee that we make here for our customers. This is where we do all our roasting, and the interesting thing about roasting is that coffee is deceptively complex. You're dealing with concepts of thermodynamics, heat transfer, moisture content, bean density, ambient temp. Basically, there's so many different factors that play a part in producing some excellent coffee.
Here I'm meeting with Brent Robinson, one of the founding members of CT Trail Mixers, along with Michael. Brent started running a few years ago, and basically it changed his life.
There's so many stories of people who are like, oh, just try it. You can do anything you want. And it just seems so ridiculous until you do it. Yeah. And then you're like, oh my God, I was 250 pounds and completely out of shape and had never run in my life. And here I am running marathons. So I look at it, I'm like, it's true. Yeah. Anybody can do this.
He discovered he had a heart rate anomaly, though. And while some said running wasn't going to be an option, Brent responded by racing a 10K and setting a PR just 2 weeks after reparative heart surgery.
Ran the 10-miler 2 weeks after.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you were just like, oh, I'm fine, I can do this.
Yeah, and it was a breakthrough pace for me, and it was in my hometown, so it was kind of like this whole, that was the moment right there when I said, this running thing, along with everything else, is bigger than me, and I'm hooked. So that's when I signed up for the Fleet Feet training for the spring marathon season, and come January 7th, I got that spreadsheet of every routine for 16, 18 weeks or whatever it was. And everyone there was just like, just trust me, if you just follow this, it will work. You won't just get through it, you'll get through it well. And I did.
He now coaches other beginners at the store as a way to give back to the running community. He talks passionately about the tribe he found there, about the bonds he formed with other runners during training. His words drove me to seek out one of those workouts myself. This one was supposed to be at a track, but with New England weather being the way that it is, the track was snowed in, and so we went to the next best thing, the West Hartford Fairview Cemetery, an easy half-mile jog from West Hartford Center. You can run here, of course, and if you're okay with the scenery, it's actually quite nice.
So these are somewhat similar to what we did last week. Last week we did mile repeats. This week we're working a little bit past those mile repeats. And what I would like for you guys to shoot for each of these intervals is to go a little bit further on each one.
So my name is Michelle Kernick, and I started coaching about 2 years ago or so. Right now I am coach of the speed development program for Fleet Feet Sports. I also do private coaching and private running coaching.
It's great coming out with a group to do this, because speed work is a hard thing to do on your own. Nobody wants to go out and do 1 mile repeats or half mile repeats on their own.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
Good work, guys. I know. One more after this, right?
I'm tired. The lactic acid's already building up in my legs from several miles of hard intervals, my first after a winter of simply mileage. And so I take a detour to the Wadsworth Atheneum, the nation's oldest public art museum that's home to something like 50,000 pieces of art. Everything from post-war and contemporary art to 20th century, mid-century, and abstract art, to even medieval and ancient European paintings and artifacts. I'm here with Cecil Adams. He's not only the museum's head of design, he's also a runner.
Wow! Oh my gosh, Cecil, this is my favorite room.
Yeah, so this is
so
really
cool.
One of the centerpieces of our recent renovations. And we renovated in 2 very large areas in the museum. And this Morgan Memorial, donated by J. Pierpont Morgan.
Cecil, thank you so much for this tour. This was so awesome.
Thank
but
you
I'm
for
really
coming.
excited that we're going to go running now.
Yeah.
And we're going to go on a historical tour of Hartford.
That's right. We'll go to Constitution Plaza, we'll see the old State House, the front of the museum, some of the site-specific artwork in the city.
Oh, man.
And then the state capitol and the Soldiers and Sailors Arch, which is where the Hartford Marathon ends.
Oh, cool. So it's our art history tour is continuing.
Right, it's an architectural tour.
That's
too.
awesome. Okay, I'm going to change and I'll
Okay.
meet you outside.
Me too.
I've run all over Hartford, but I haven't yet been to the very place that literally serves as the glue of the running scene in this town. Stephanie Blosey's running store, Fleet Feet Sports.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Blosey of Fleet Feet Sports West Hartford. My sister and I took over the store in 2008. We wanted to make it a starting place for runners of all ages and abilities, and we want to help change people's lives one shoe at a time. This is our women's annex, home to the largest sports bra collection in the United States, located just 3 doors down from our main store.
So I came here for 2 reasons.
All right.
Well, more than that, but one, because I need to get new shoes. But 2, everyone I've talked to keeps telling me that I need to talk to you if I want to know anything about running in Hartford.
All right.
So I guess let's get shoes
first.
out of the way.
All right, so the first thing I'd like you to do is take your shoes off.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is take you through a fit process.
Okay.
And what I need is your socks off as well.
Okay.
I was romanced by the shoe wall, and our conversation could not ensue without a proper fitting. There's just something about a new pair of shoes that instantly makes sore muscles disappear. And I also hope Stephanie could direct me to one more run.
The one run you have to do is our fun run on Wednesday night.
Okay.
If you're looking for community and fun and a reason to laugh and smile, come back tonight, 6:30.
Okay.
We'll take you on a run through the neighborhoods of West Hartford. You get a great tour of some beautiful houses.
Okay.
We have a good time.
Oh, I missed the whole warm-up!
Hi!
How
Do you want to get back on film?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh good, we'll run together. We're just going for our Wednesday fun run. Fleet Feet West Hartford, come on.
We are going for our weekly run, and I'm a pacer this week. And
You're a pacer?
Yeah, we have an awesome group of people right now. Woo!
I am training for a 10K, my first one. So I have to get my run in this week, so I'm joining our fun run.
I enjoy doing it. I've made a bunch of friends, and I just something, let out some stress and enjoy myself after work, I guess.
Yeah! Bestest of friends. I
Yeah.
would never do this if I weren't running with all these people.
Good job! I have to pee.
And you said because you like to drink. What?
Yeah.
Beer?
I would agree that all runners drink beer. That helps you hydrate after a race.
Yes, it's true. Beer, it seems, is one of those ubiquitous things you just expect when you're in a crowd of runners. I used to think this was only a trail running thing, but no, turns out it's a runner thing. It doesn't even matter when, where, or how far you've run, a post-run beer is always, always, always well-deserved. Here in West Hartford, Max Burgers is the local watering hole for Fleet Feeders. The beer menu is extensive, the food is absolutely delicious, and going there was the perfect opportunity for me to drill Stephanie with all the questions I was dying to ask.
Okay, so Stephanie, how did you get into, I guess, running, first of all?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. So I grew up, my dad was a big runner. I did my first race when I was 5 years old. Loved running, I did running in high school, was pretty good at it. But running was always like central to what I did. But in 1995, I was diagnosed with lupus. And at that time, all the doctors were like, no more exercise, you know, you need to sit, you need to rest. Like, that's how you're gonna survive. And I remember feeling like I was losing a big part of my life. So I stopped exercising and I went to these support groups that were so depressing. And one day, like, I went to a marathon and my dad and my sister and my brother were all running the marathon and I was cheering them on. And I remember thinking, like, I'm so jealous. Like, I was the runner of the family and you guys get to do this marathon. And my sister at the time, she was like 22, and she's like, I've been researching and you're like, they're saying that people with cancer and autoimmune diseases, if you exercise, the better you feel. And I found though that the more I ran, the healthier I was. My sister and I were talking, we're like, you know what, we should go into business together. And I wanted to help other sick people feel the freedom and to get their life back that running brings. So we decided we would open a running store.
Big cheers to the best team!
I guess that's the thing about running. While it may be a solitary pursuit, it's also a place. It's the people and the experiences and the landscapes we traverse. In Hartford, I found some incredible running in some rather unlikely places. But I also found a community, a tribe even, that was surprisingly open and surprisingly opposite from all the stereotypical ideas I had about New Englanders.